It's a theme that's been playing on repeat today on all of CBS, True TV. It's March Madness. And folks, Keeping It Real with Alexander Garrett, live from the Keeping It Real March Madness desk, I guess. I mean, today is one of the best days in sports. Some people say it's Super Bowl, but today, coast to coast, arena to arena, all these games, the first day of the round of 64. And on the line with me covering one of those teams, Seton Hall Pirates, of course, is the color commentator for Learfield College, IMG Learfield College, Dave Popkin. Dave, this is the fourth time Seton Hall's been in as many years? Fourth straight?
Fourth straight year. I think it's the seventh time that I've been with them in the 16 years that I've called the games, Al. And I don't think I've ever encountered a more enjoyable group of guys. I think I met with some of the beat writers last night for Seton Hall, and we all agree that this is our favorite team to cover because it's been so unexpected, the ride that they've had and the kind of guys that they are.
Now, earlier today, Marquette played, and of course, Marcus Howard versus Miles Powell. Do you think that snub drives Powell not only through the Big East tournament, we saw it did, but how about tonight against Wofford?
You know, I just think that he's excited to perform on a national stage and show everybody what he can do, and it's been proven that when he plays well, Seton Hall plays well. When he goes for 25 or more points, Seton Hall is 11-3, and I don't think that they have a great chance if he doesn't have 20 or 25 points tonight because the scoring from the other Pirates has been inconsistent this year, sometimes good. You know, Miles Cale's had some big games, and Sandro Mamukelashvili has had some big games, and Anthony Nelson, even in the last game, came off the bench with 12 as Seton Hall nearly upset Villanova. So it depends on the day, but he's got to be the constant, and I don't think that he's driven by all that individual stuff. He's a real team guy. If somebody else is open at the end of games, you'll see him pass it and go for the best shot instead of trying to force it. And in that last game against Villanova, if his jumper is 2 inches short, I think Seton Hall wins that game. So he is the straw that stirs the drink, as they say.
Yes, as Reggie once said. But talk about Wofford for a second, because you see Selection Sunday, you see they're picked in Jacksonville. What can Pirate fans look out for against Wofford?
They've been a top 25 team all year. They've won 20 straight games. They're one of the best shooting teams in the country. You take a look at these guys. They shoot 42% collectively. Fletcher McGee is one of the best shooters of all time in the NCAA. He'll probably set the new NCAA record for made threes in this game. He only needs 3 more to pass Travis Bader of Oakland. And he can shoot it from all odd angles, like even more than Powell. He can shoot it from behind his body, twisting and turning. Very difficult guy to cover. They have another guy, Nathan Hoover, that shoots it at 46%, which is even better. Storm Murphy, their point guard, shoots it at 49% from 3. So if Seton Hall can limit Wofford's three-point shooting to, say, 10 or fewer threes during the game, they have a great chance to win. Wofford also has a good inside player, Cam Jackson, that could present some problems.
And let me ask you, what is Willard's game plan, Kevin Willard, for the defensive side of the ball, mainly here, to stop those threes?
I haven't spoken to him yet, but Gary's going to talk to him in a little while, and we have a lot of options. I think that Miles Cale is going to start on McGee because he has length and he's been one of the Seton Hall, great defensive players this year. They'd like to keep Quincy McKnight out of foul trouble. Maybe you put him on Murphy or Hoover. Miles Powell's going to have to play D. He's going to have to chase guys around the perimeter and really give them tough looks from out there. Seton Hall's played a lot of man-to-man, but they also play a matchup zone. So pace-wise, I don't know. I think Seton Hall would like to run a little bit with these guys and take advantage of their athleticism and get some easy baskets inside instead of relying on the three-point shot because, Wofford shoots it at 10% higher than Seton Hall, which is an unbelievable gap in college basketball. Seton Hall shoots it at just 32%. So they can't just stand around and expect to make a lot of threes.
Now, you're watching Selection Sunday. What was your thought when you first saw that they were going to play Wofford? What was your thinking?
I didn't know that much about Wofford at the time, except that they were a high-scoring team and that they, swept the Southern Conference this year. But this team's won 20 in a row. So obviously it's not an easy game. Wofford is favored by 2.5 in the game. and Seton Hall's going to have their hands full. But I kind of liked it because they get, if they win the game, Kentucky in the second round, and they've already beaten Kentucky this year. So that would have to be, in the back of both teams' minds. And I just get the feeling being around the team that they're not scared. They're going to play loose. And I think they'll play well. There have been a couple of these NCAA trips in recent years where it's been a real buzzkill, like in Denver, the game against Gonzaga.
Well, they had put
really
oxygen on Whitehead.
It.
That was ugly. That whole thing was not good. But they're finally, they're on the East Coast, and that might benefit them a little bit. Not a lot of traveling, just down the coast.
It might. It's a late start, so you never know in these games. We probably won't tip until 9:40, 9:45 tonight. So they've, kind of been around all day and had a little bit of a shoot around today, a walkthrough. So you just don't know. But, I would think staying on the East Coast has got to favor them.
And one other thing about Seton Hall is, and I've followed them through AM 970 The Answer and whatnot, and you've been there courtside, is they've just mowed over Marquette twice. Villanova, one of the two times, but they played them well both times. Momentum should carry them through this game, shouldn't it?
I think they have momentum. Yeah, I think they do, and I think their defense has been really good, and they've been playing more complete games. You remember early in the season that, Seton Hall would fall behind almost every game, and have to come back and fight and claw. There's still some element of that because they're not a dominant offensive team, but their defense has kept them in just about every game this year. They've been blown out twice, at Villanova, at Nebraska. Every other game has been a close game, win or lose. So I would, if nothing else, expect a close game tonight and a Seton Hall team that feels confident.
And the big guys inside, you can't forget about Sandro, can't forget about Enzi. They've really helped carry this team as well. And I think for Enzi, this got to be special. It's his senior year.
It is. This could be his last game, so he's going to play with a lot of ferocity out there. He played well in the Marquette game, had a big double-double there, 14 points, 15 rebounds, played pretty well in the final against Villanova, has had some big games this year, and you never know. I think back to a couple of years ago when Ishmael Sanogo, who's not normally a big scorer, had a big game in the Big East tournament. That's what March is all about. Somebody can step up and be a hero and hit a shot, like Shavar Reynolds earlier this year hit a game-winning shot against St. John's.
Hey, Dave, thanks so much, and we'll be on the air with you tonight, 970, AM 970 The Answer at 9:30 or so. It's Seton Hall, it's Wofford, it's March Madness, and covering it for you here on Keeping It Real with Alexander Garrett. Talk to you soon.